Well, you're right on time for breaking today. Good evening from where you're watching us from. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Michael Maithia. We have a lot in line for you and these are our top stories.
Agenda ambayo tungekuwa nayo nzuri ingekuwa kwamba wale IDPs wote wanaweza rudishiwa mashamba yao, wanaweza rudi kwa mali yao.
ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi revisits the motive topic of internally displaced persons of 2007-2008 post-election violence.
Wengi sasa wameanza kukuja kanisani kwa sababu wameona vile nimezidi na kukuja kanisani, Mungu amezidi na kunisukuma.
DP William RUTO says he's the one who pushed politicians to go to church and that they shouldn't be banned from the pulpit.
Tunataka tutembee pamoja. Tuende pamoja. Tuende pamoja. Sasa tunasema tuende pamoja na kwa mkono.
ODM party leader Raila Odinga continues to woo the masses, drumming up support for his newly launched Azimio la Umoja approach in Laikipia County. Talk to us via social media platforms as SweetTV Kenya, Joel Chacha M on Twitter, as well on Facebook, SweetTV Kenya and Joel Chacha. Send in an SMS via 111 We begin. Deputy President William RUTO has responded to the church's request of banning politicians from the pulpit by asking them not to sideline politicians but instead preach to them. According to RUTO, politicians should preach good politics and not use the pulpit to spread hate. At the same time, RUTO has hit out at the government debt burden, saying his economic formula will provide a solution. Daniel Kariuki reports.
Politics at the pulpit again took center stage across the country, politicians trying to popularize their names months to the 2022 general elections. Deputy President William RUTO today making a return in the rich vote Mount Kenya region, specifically in Meru County, where he calls on the clergy to allow politicians to speak at the pulpit. According to RUTO, it is him who has influenced most politicians to begin going to church.
Wameona vile nimezidi na kukuja kanisani, Mungu amezidi na kunisukuma. Hata hawa wanaokuja kanisani kwa mambo ya siasa, msiwafukuze jameni na waomba.
Sisi viongozi wa siasa tukifika kanisani tupewe nafasi tuongee. Tuko na uwezo wa kujua ni gani la kusema, ni gani aliko la kusema.
The warning 2 weeks ago by the head of the Anglican Church, Jackson Ole Sapit, barring politicians from speaking in the church had sparked anxiety among most politicians who are known to make political statements at the pulpit.
Mimi nawaomba tafadhali maaskofu, msifukuze hawa watu. Unajua njia ya injili, neno la Mungu linahubiriwa na mbinu zote.
RUTO then made a roadshow rally where he further defended his bottom-up economic model, saying the narrative would help improve the country's economy.
Tukilipa ushuru sisi wote, tutaongeza walipaji wa ushuru, tutakuwa na pesa nyingi Kenya, hatutakuwa na haja ya kwenda kutafuta madeni kwa watu wengine.
Lakini ujue Bore constituency na Meru at large ni UDA na ni ya William Samoei RUTO.
RUTO had toured Meru County to attend a Thanksgiving service at the AIPCA Laurent Angein Church. Daniel Kariuki for SweetTV News.
Meanwhile, ODM party leader Raila Odinga was today in Laikipia County, where he drummed up campaign on his Azimio la Umoja tagline ahead of the upcoming 2022 general elections. Raila insists that the unifying factor of the country lies with his victory in the 2022 polls. Our very own Robert Ouma now reports.
Contrary to the Ministry of Health protocols, politicians do not seem to recognize the value of social distancing. The ODM leader Raila Odinga, in company of other political leaders, have today continued with their campaigns ahead of the big day. The pillar of the campaigns rotating on the recently launched Azimio la Umoja tagline.
Kwa hii kitu tunaita Azimio ya Umoja wa Kenya.
nikisema mnasemeni inawezekana. Sawa? Sawa? Amani.
RAILA says that given a chance to be the next president, he will unify the country.
Ugonjwa, ujinga, umaskini na utewa na mbaya.
However, Deputy President William Ruto's economic model continues to face hits of time from his rivals.
Sio unaambiwa wewe kijana ati kazi ni kazi. Kazi ni kazi. Kazi ni kazi, ni takataka.
It is less than 11 months to the 2022 general elections, and the scramble for votes continue with politicians traversing the country in search of votes. Robert Thomas, Switch TV.
Still a focus on matters politics. Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi has asked for internally displaced people during the 2017 post-election violence to be settled. He also asked the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission (TJRC) to implement their findings and make them public. Scott Muriuki has more.
Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi has asked Kenyans to avoid the violent trends that led to the post-election violence of 2007 to 2008 and called upon politicians to preach peace.
Juzi tumeona watu wameanza tena kusahau, wengine wanachoma matairi, wengine wanarusha mawe hapa na pale. Hiyo si dalili nzuri. Kwa hivyo tunataka hiyo izimu ya haraka kabisa, tuwe na utulivu katika Kenya, tuchague kwa njia ya kiheshima.
Mudavadi also asked for the findings of the report with the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission, stating it is the only way of correcting land injustices.
Agenda ambayo tungekuwa nayo nzuri ingekuwa kwamba wale IDPs wote wanaweza rudishiwa mashamba yao, wanaweza rudi kwa mali yao. Jambo hili halijatendeka. Bado watu wako na hofu. Kwa hivyo kuna agenda nyingi sana ambayo ni lazima serikali ambayo itakuwa ya utulivu na kuunganisha kila mtu inaweza tekeleza, ili tuseme kabisa hiyo historia hatutaki kurudia tena.
He called for political tolerance and peaceful campaigns as Kenya heads to electioneering period. Scott Muriuki, Switch TV News.
Away from that, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter MUNYA, speaking at Itumbe Tea Factory in Sameta, a sub-county of Kisii County, has assured tea farmers of better tea bonuses next year as Western Kenya is expected to improve by 41%, a trend that has been dwindling over the recent years. This follows as tea farmers across the country are staring at one of the lowest bonuses to have ever been paid over the years. In what comes as a boost to farmers, MUNYA decreed that through the tea reforms that were enacted by the National Assembly, the crop growers will now have a guaranteed minimum returns, which began August this year.
Nilikuwa nataka tuelewane hiyo because kuna watu wanaporonjo wanasema MUNYA ameleta mabadiliko lakini bonus ni mbaya. Sasa hii si yangu. Mabadiliko yangu imeingia tu saa hii na bei imeenda juu na inaendelea. Bonus unalipwa baada ya mwaka au ulipwe kabla. So hii bonus mnalipwa ni ile mwaka nduni kabisa, ile ambayo tumebadilisha. Tunaelewana? Kwa hivyo tunawaambia sasa mambo iko sawa sawa. Na already hata West pande hii kwanza ndio ili improve price zaidi ya kule. Kwa sababu hapa mlikuwa chini kabisa. Ime improve by 41% increase ya price. Average increase by 41%.
As the project Restart Tourism kicks off tomorrow during the World Tourism Day, the sector has heavily suffered from the shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic. Over 160 billion Kenya shillings was lost according to statistics from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, that is KNBS. Tomorrow, Kisumu County will be hosting the celebrations from Ndere Island, which is the only island in Kisumu County. There will be limited number of guests due to the COVID-19 pandemic protocols. Our very senior reporter, Clifford Ndubi, is in Kisumu County and joins us live. Clifford, are the systems ready to go as the world marks this important day?
So, Chacha, it's all systems go. Tomorrow is the D-Day, the 27th of September 2021. Project Restart Tourism will be taking place from Ndere Island. It is a 4-kilometer square estimate of area. But just to give you a sneak peek of what exactly we should be happening, a number of stakeholders from the tourism sector will be congregating at the island, 250 people to be precise, because of the COVID-19 protocols that have been put in place by the Ministry of Health. And out of the number of people who will be speaking, everyone will be eager to know what exactly is the way forward. Remember, in the past year, the sector has recorded a very big loss, 160 billion, according to the statistics from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Not forgetting that we only received 450,000 guests, tourists who toured the country in the past year compared to 2019, where we had 1.54 million, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Now, starting tomorrow, the world will be forging way forward on what exactly needs to be put in place, what exactly needs to be done so that the sector can come back to normal. Now, the big question is why Kisumu County, why Ndere Island? In Kisumu County, we only have one island that is under the Kenya Wildlife Service, that is Ndere Island, and that is why the celebrations have been taken there, and we do expect a number of people to come and trickle to Kisumu after this event. Remember, in restarting tourism, it is upon Kenyans to visit all our national parks, all the attractions in the country, meaning that people in Kisumu have a chance now to go and visit Ndere Island. It is a very beautiful island. I was there. It has been a very busy day from our end, trying to make sure that everything is up and running tomorrow, because the event will be live on Switch TV. All the production equipments have been shipped there, and remember, it is only 15 kilometers. It is only 15 minutes from the mainland to the island, whereby we do expect Honorable Achi Ojani, who is in charge of tourism in Kisumu County, to grace the event. We do have the likes of Mohamed Hersi, who will be coming on board to pick up their minds on what exactly needs to be done so that tourism can get back on its feet. Remember, the COVID-19 pandemic is still with us, and the government is still much on the necks of the stakeholders so that they cannot loosen the restrictions that are in place. Now, Kisumu County is one of the most beautiful cities right now, the third best capital city in the country, because I do understand Nakuru County is also soon it will be a capital city. But trust me, it is very beautiful, it's very clean. Despite that, there are ongoing projects in the county. Right now, we do have an expressway that is being built, heading all the way to the border between Kenya and Uganda. And this project is expected to open up the potential of Kisumu County. Remember, in the previous years, Kisumu County residents have said that they've been victims of circumstance due to their political alignment, but they are due to the handshake that happened in 2019. Right now, the county is opening up a number of projects. We shall be showing you what exactly is happening on the ground in our subsequent bulletin. But just to bring you up to speed, right now as we speak, Kisumu County is a hub of 6 airlines.
And Clifford, just if I could interrupt you,
yes,
of course, I'm just curious to find why you're putting on the, the Masai Shuka. Is it too cold, or was the weather like there?
Oh yes, definitely, Chacha, the weather is not that friendly from our end. Where we were in Ndere Island, we left there when the rains had started beating us, but some of my colleagues are still trapped there, but I do believe that they are on the way. But we are right at the heart of Kisumu County, and it is very cold. The breeze from the lake can be felt. The air actually is very sweet if you compare it with what you breathe in Nairobi.
Thank you, Clifford Ndubi, who is in Kisumu. And be sure, our viewer, to catch that exclusive coverage from Kisumu Ndere Island tomorrow right here on Switch TV. I was just from, Mombasa the other day, so I was talking to Clifford, telling him it's time to just move from one city to the other. But that's now 30 minutes past 7 p.m. We take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Breaking Today. My name is Joel Church and the sign language interpreter is Michael Maithia. Now, did you know that Kenyans working online are not subjected to the newly introduced digital service tax? Then who does it apply to? Our business reporter Brian Mwenda talks to Nixon Omondi, the manager at the Domestic Taxes Department Digital Economy, who demystifies the digital service tax. Take a look.
So, Nixon, what is the digital service tax and to whom does it apply?
Okay, if you look at the name digital service tax, as its name suggests, it is a tax on digital services. So that means it's a tax not applicable on goods traded online, but tax on those who provide digital services. We know digital services are numerous. So when we look at the word digital services, we actually mean those who provide streaming services, whether it is live streaming or downloadable content. So if one is providing, for example, podcasts, webcasts, you know, any soundbite or audio, or even music, we also have voice, as well as movies. Those are referred to as digital services, which fall within the scope of digital service tax, as well as downloadable digital content like websites, firewalls, softwares. That will also be part of digital services, chargeable to digital service tax. We know there are, for example, digital betting platforms that are based in Kenya. But at the same time, we also have businesses that are based outside Kenya, but are being consumed by our local citizens and businesses. So when DST started, it was applicable to both locals and non-locals up to June 2020. And at that time, our biggest payers were the betting companies. They were actually accounting for over 50% of DST that was being collected. Then the government changed, of course, through Parliament. Parliament changed the rules through the Finance Act 2021, so that only non-residents now pay digital service tax. So this is not a tax for locals anymore. It is payable by non-locals.
So are Kenyans working online also subject to this tax?
When the law changed from 1st of July 2021, then if a Kenyan earns from the digital space, whether you are working on Upwork, whether you are a social media content creator, okay, you are a brand, promoter in the social media space, you are no longer required to pay digital service tax.
And what is the basic taxing formula of this tax?
It's simply 1.5% of what you have received.
So basically, it's the sales that you're going to make.
Correct.
Out of that.
Correct.
Not the net.
Not the net. But we don't expect digital service tax to increase prices of services so consumed by our Kenyans.
8 months down the line, Nixon, how has this tax impacted KRA's targets?
What we have collected so far from the digital sphere is more than 1 billion Kenya shillings.
Does this tax come back to the taxpayer? And how does it?
The economy is actually being digitalized. That is the same context with which countries are also moving to tax the effect of digitalization. So we also need to tap into these newer frontiers like the digital economy, where people are earning money from our country, but they are not paying any tax. And that is a global concern. And the DST, is not just a Kenyan affair. Many other countries have also tried to come up with digital service tax.
Thank you, Nixon, for shedding light on this new tax and how it has impacted KRA and also the Kenya.
Now, many thanks for staying with us this lovely Sunday. It's a good day for sports. And just to start us off, over to Canada, where the Kenya Shujaas are really impressing after a final week, which they had to go from Vancouver, now Edmonton Sevens, because Shujas are currently playing Germany in their quarter-final one, and Shujas are leading 27-17. The first scores were courtesy of a brace from the one and only despotic duo known as Jeff Okwacha and of course Alvin Otieno Bufa. Kenya is still continuing with that particular encounter, as you can see, and it is estimated that Kenya might meet quarterfinal, the winner of the quarterfinal 2, which is either Great Britain or South Africa.
Player, the impact sub Ellerman slips right out, and the knock on gives Germany.
Very good stuff, Kenya. That game is almost coming to an end, so it's going to be a nail-biting encounter between either Kenya versus South Africa or rather Kenya versus Great Britain. Now over to some local football matters, where an impressive AFC Leopards are opening their 2021-2022 FKF Premier League season with an important 1-0 win over champions Tusker FC at the Thika Stadium today afternoon. Musa Said's lone goal was enough to engineer a perfect start for Leopards, who finished 4th last season, with the Tusker missing a golden opportunity to force a draw as Boniface Mushere shot wide from the spot in the 64th. Other KPL fixtures today saw newly promoted Kenya Police going 1-0 down to Kakamega Homeboys. Ulinzi Stars 1, Nzoia Sugar 0, Sofapaka 3, Nairobi City Stars 1.
Ambaye kwa kweli alipiga rocket kutoka mbali kabisa, ukaenda ukapiga chuma alafu tena ukajaa kwenye kamba. Kwa hivyo ni kwamba hangeweza kufanya chochote.
Now over to some marathon matters, athletics or rather. Ethiopian Guy Adole survived a midway comeback from race favorite Kenenisa Bekele at a late surge from Kenyan Bethwell Yagana to power to victory in the Berlin Marathon. Yagana finished in second place ahead of Bekele, who had settled for a third. There was no world record this time at the flatter inner city course, but there was enough suspense and excitement before Adole crossed the finish line with an unofficial time of 2 hours, 5 minutes and 45 seconds for the biggest win of his career.
But the title in Berlin in this 47th edition of the BMW Berlin Marathon in the German capital stays in Ethiopian hands. The first marathon victory at the age of 30 for Guy Adole. A masterful run for this man, so richly deserved this victory. The winning time, well, he gives it a thumbs up. As ever with these great runners, they cannot resist having them.
Not a good day for Team Kenya, but of course, regardless, we still move on. Now, Kenyan giant sports betting company BETIKA has facilitated the start of the rehabilitation of the Kayole Calvary Field at Kayole Comarox area. BETIKA will ensure proper upgrade of the football pitch is done with 100 million disbursed for the same. The idea has been driven with the rising cases of football matches being postponed due to the poor state of the ground during rainy seasons and players being prone to injuries due to the field's state. Now over to some EPL